Ladies and gentlemen, in tonight's matchup we will see two of the most popular rifles in the world. In this corner, weighing in at 8.6 pounds, chambered in 7.62 millimeter, from the former Soviet Union, the AK-47. And in this corner, weighing in at 7.4 pounds, chambered in 5.56 millimeter, from the United States of America, the AR-15. Hi, I'm Dustin Weiniger. In this video, I'll be comparing two of the most well-known rifle designs in the world, the AK-47 and the AR-15. The AK-47 was invented in the former Soviet Union by Mikhail Kalashnikov, and I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. AK stands for Automat Kalashnikova, which in English would be Kalashnikov's automatic. And the 47 is because it was adopted by the Soviet military in 1947, so its name became the AK-47. The AK-47 fires the 7.62 by 39 millimeter cartridge. Basic operation of the rifle is you would fill your magazine with 30 cartridges of ammunition, that's the standard capacity, insert it into the receiver, take the safety off, which is this lever right here, by pressing it all the way down, pull back on the charging handle, and as that's released, it will push the top cartridge of ammunition up into the firing chamber. When this rifle is fired, as the bullet goes down the barrel, when it gets to this point, gases are released up through a little hole into this block and into a gas tube, pushing back on a piston, which will push this charging handle back again, repeating the process until you're out of ammunition. To show how to take this rifle apart for basic maintenance and cleaning, which is also called field stripping the rifle, I'll take the safety off by pressing this lever down. I'm going to remove the magazine, we don't need that. Now I'm going to remove this dust cover right here by pressing on this button at the back of the rifle and lifting up. And on your rifle you may find that can take a little bit of wiggling. These are not built with quite the precision of the AR-15, but that can cause the parts to be a little loose, but at the same time it also contributes a lot to their very well-known reliability and ruggedness. Now I'm going to remove the recoil spring, which is this spring right here, by pressing it forward and then just pulling it out of the action. Set that aside. Now I'm going to remove the charging handle, which will also remove the piston. This is the piston I was talking about before that the gas pushes back on to cycle this rifle. Finally, I'm going to pull up on this lever and remove the top half of my handguard and foregrip right here. Just pull that off. And that is the complete field stripping disassembly of the AK-47. This is what you would do if you needed to clean the rifle. And you'll notice this one is actually very filthy. Honestly, I don't clean this rifle very much because, to be perfectly frank, they function just fine with almost no cleaning. That's one of the things that makes this rifle one of the most popular designs around the world. Now, to put it back together, which you would do after your maintenance work, first put this piece back on, just pops in place, and then push this lever back down to its original position. Now I'm going to reinsert the piston, and that lines up with two grooves back here and then just pushes up into place. Recoil spring is reinserted and then has two little lips that go into these grooves and just slides back into place. Finally, the dust cover pushes up into the groove at the front of it and then literally just pops into place like that, and the rifle is reassembled. At that point you can reinsert your magazine and you're finished. The AK-47 comes in many different configurations today. This is actually not what the originals looked like. The originals were made with a wood stock and wood furniture on them. This is obviously black and synthetic. And while the originals were made in the Soviet Union, this one was actually made in Bulgaria, and they're now made in countries all over the world. It is a very rugged, reliable design and inexpensive to buy, making it one of the most popular firearms around the world for militaries and civilians alike. The AR-15 was designed by the Armalite Company in 1957 and was later adopted for military service in 1958. Now, the AR does not stand for assault rifle, as people tend to believe it does. it actually stands for Armalite rifle because that's who invented it. The 15 is because what was released in 1957 was their 15th design, making this the AR-15. The two most common cartridges fired by the AR-15 rifle are the 5.56 millimeter cartridge and the .223 caliber cartridge. Both are very similar to each other, and this is the .223. Basic operation of the rifle: you would fill your magazine with ammunition. Like the AK-47, standard capacity is 30 rounds. That is then inserted into the receiver. Then you'll pull back on your charging handle. And as I let go, normally it will go forward on its own, but because this has an empty magazine, I will need to manually push it forward. On the other side of the gun, we have a bolt release, which when pushed on, will release the bolt forward, loading the first cartridge of ammunition into the firing chamber. Then I will disengage the safety by pulling down on this lever with my thumb, and as the gun fires, the bullet travels down the barrel, and as it gets to this point, similar to the AK-47, there is a small hole in the top of the barrel allowing gases to escape up into a tube. But unlike the AK-47, there is not a piston in this design. This is called direct impingement. So the gas itself travels down the tube back to the action into a small cup, pushing back the bolt assembly, and then the spring back here pushes it forward, loading the next cartridge of ammunition into the chamber. If at any point the bolt does jam and does not go all the way forward, most AR-15 models, including this one, do have a forward assist button, which can be pushed, nudging the bolt the rest of the way. This is repeated until you're out of ammunition. For field stripping of the AR-15, after you've made sure the firearm is unloaded, you will press on the rear takedown pin. Some people like to use a cartridge to help push it through. Then pull from the other side, swinging the firearm open. Then you'll push the front takedown pin, pulling from the other side, then removing the lower receiver from the upper receiver, and we'll just leave the lower receiver aside. Then you'll pull back from the charging handle, removing the bolt carrier group. And that's as far as we need to go for the sake of this simple video. Although if you were cleaning, you would also want to pull apart the bolt carrier group. I also want to mention this is the cup that the gases are pushing against in the direct impingement system. Now to reassemble the rifle, you just reverse your steps. And it's reassembled. Just like my AK-47, this is not the original configuration of the AR-15 rifle, but like the AK-47, it is now available in a wide variety of configurations. Today, the AR-15 is even available in a variety of calibers. You may have noticed this one does not currently have any sights or optics on it, but those are available in a variety as well. Today, some AR-15 rifles, like this one, utilize a piston design like the AK-47 instead of the direct impingement. Virtually every aspect of the AR-15 rifle is customizable to your own liking, which contributes to its very widespread popularity. Well, let's take a few shots with each rifle and see how they do. We'll start with the AK-47. I've been shooting from a distance of 50 yards. With the AK-47, you can see that the bullet holes are fairly spread out in a somewhat large shot group because it is not built with the precision that the AR-15 is. So over distance, the accuracy does deteriorate, which means this is not necessarily a long-range firearm. But from close to moderate ranges, there's probably not a more reliable firearm anywhere on the planet. For what this rifle is, it is very well made and does a very good job. And now the AR-15. I'll be using the one with the gas piston design since the other one does not have optics on it right now. Because of the design of the AR-15 rifle, they are a little more susceptible to malfunctions, especially with the direct impingement system spewing gases directly into the bolt carrier group. But what they lose in reliability, you can see they gain in accuracy. These shots are all a little low, which tells me I need to raise my rear sight just a little bit in an adjustment, but you can see they are much closer together in a much tighter group than I was able to do with the AK-47. This rifle then performs much better over distance than an AK-47 would. So each rifle is going to have its own pros and its own cons.
Ladies and gentlemen, by unanimous decision, the winner is you if you own either or both of these incredible rifles. If you like this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up button below and click the subscribe icon in the corner of your screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.